Hi there, it's 1 o'clock. I'm Smriti Vidyathi. Thanks very much for joining us on this news broadcast. We kick off in the county of Mombasa with Kevin Mutai. Kevin, it certainly has been a very different Eid for Muslims celebrating across the country, what with the cessation of movement and also social distancing. Bring us up to speed on how people have been coping this year round.
Well, this year has been a lot more different, Smriti, because normally we see thousands of Muslims coming together, conducting prayers in open spaces like even Tononoka ground, even visiting some of the public beaches here in Mombasa. But that is different now because we're seeing most of them have chosen to stay indoors, stay in their houses because of the containment issue, the issue of assessment, and of course also this has of course barred them from even doing some of the things that we normally see them doing year round, like coming together, praying together, holding prayers together, eating together, and of course also visiting their loved ones from different parts of the country, not only here in Mombasa, but normally we see even some going out of Mombasa in some places like even Nairobi and beyond, but that this time is different because the cessation of movement, the entire county of Mombasa is under restrictions, not only Mombasa, Kwale and also Kilifi, and a majority of them are they're indoors with their families. And of course here with me is the Sheikh Njuma, who is the national chairman of the Kenya National Muslims Advisory Council. Bwana Njuma, pengine tueleze Eid ya mwaka huu imekuwa tofauti kivipi?
Assalamu alaikum. Eid ya mwaka huu ina tofauti kubwa sana. Kwanza tumezoea kwenda kwa misikiti, kuswali viwanjani, kupigana pambaja, kula pamoja, lakini yote hayo yamekosekana. Kwa hiyo ni tofauti sana ukilinganisha na Eid za miaka ya nyuma ambazo zimepita, kwa sababu ile furaha ambayo huonekana kwa barabara, katika miji, vijijini, yote imeondoka kwa sababu ya maradhi hatari ya corona. Jambo lingine muhimu ni kwamba sisi huenda pia tukatia dua kwa makaburi ya ndugu zetu Waislamu waliokufa, kwenda kuombea Mwenyezi Mungu, yote yankosekana. Vile vile kwa wale ambao walikuwako labda wana nyumba zaidi ya moja, anamka Kibokoni na mke Majengo, na corona ikampata Majengo, so ni wazi kwamba mke aliye Kibokoni hawezi kuona mume wake au mke wake. Alikuwa labda ana watoto Kilifi, ana watoto Kwale, hawezi kuwatembelea wakati huu. Kwa hivyo kuna mambo mengi ambayo Eid ya mwaka huu ni tofauti sana. Lakini mbali na hayo pia kuna mazuri mengi yampatikana. Mazuri mengi ni kama vile watu waliokuwa hawana mazoea na familia zao, leo watu wamekaa majumbani na wake zao, watoto wao, wazazi wao. Ni jambo ambalo limezidisha mapenzi kwa wananchi na familia ambazo kwa muda mrefu sana watu wako busy. Kuna watu ambao ondoka asubuhi nyumbani akarudi jioni, wengine huondoka mwezi mzima. Lakini safari hii alhamdulillah kuna watu wamekaa majumbani na wake zao, wazazi wao na watoto na wanafurahia.
Pengine swala la kiuchumi, kwa sababu kuna baadhi yao ambao pengine wamehisi ama kupata ugumu kiasi, kwa sababu kila mara huwa tunaona waumini wa dini ya Kiislamu kila mara wanajumuika pamoja kununua vifaa tofauti, mapochopocho mbali hapa na pale, lakini inakaa kwamba leo imekuwa tofauti kwa sababu hata kutangamana kwa wingi imeweza haitakubaliwa na serikali.
Uchumi umeathirika sana kwa sababu watu hawafanyi kazi. Kuna watu ambao labda alikuwako yeye kufanya kazi mpaka atoke nje ya mji, labda aende paka Nairobi au kaunti nyingine ya nchi, lakini kwa sababu ya corona sasa mtawezi kwenda. So kusema kweli imeathiri sana mambo ya uchumi. Na ningeiomba serikali wakati inapanga mambo yake ya kufufua uchumi, iangalie ni namna gani wale wafanyabiashara ambao wameathirika serikali itawasaidia. Kwa sababu watu wameathirika kiasi ya kwamba mtu anashindwa kupata sengine chakula chake cha siku moja. Mimi mwenyewe na wafuasi wangu wa baraza tumepata simu nyingi sana. Tunashukuru wale magavana na viongozi ambao walitupa chakula, kama gavana Joho tulipelekea baadhi ya watu mitaani, walimu wa madarasa, wa mashekhe wasiojiweza. Kwa sababu hili ni jambo ambalo limeleta ukame ambao ni jukumu la serikali kuona kwamba inatenga fedha, yale mabilioni ya pesa ambayo Mheshimiwa Uhuru amepokea kutoka nchi za nje, atenge bajeti ya kuangalia namna gani atafidia wafanyabiashara ambao.
Kwa hivyo tunaona kwamba kuna hata baadhi ya Waislamu ambao hivi sasa kwa muda ambao wamekuwa kwenye Ramadhani hawaja kuwa kisawa katika kupokea vyakula.
Kuna Waislamu wengi hawakupata vyakula kwa sababu si kila kaunti ilikuwa na mpango kama Mombasa. Hapa kwetu tunashukuru serikali na gavana wetu wa Mombasa amefanya mipango mizuri ya chakula. Lakini kwa tengenezo magavana wenyewe za Kenya tu. Kuta kaunti na gavana, kwa hivyo kuna wananchi wengi Kenya, katika kaunti zote kuna wananchi wengi sana ambao wanashida na chakula. Kwa hivyo ningeomba serikali kama vile ilipambana na maradhi ya ukimwi na kupeleka madawa kila hospitali kote nchini, ni jukumu la serikali mabilioni ya pesa ambayo imepokea sasa waweze kufanya mpango wa chakula cha bure kwa wananchi mashinani na kufidia biashara ambazo zimekufa, kwa sababu sofa hatuoni barakoa za bure, hatuoni sabuni za bure, hatuoni sanitizer za bure. Ukienda hospitalini wengi walipo wenyewe. Sasa haya mabilioni ambayo serikali imepokea kutoka nchi za kizungu, billions of shillings, zinafanya kazi gani?
Na je, pengine hivi sasa tunaona kwamba serikali inajiandaa, inaweka kila mikakati ili kuhakikisha kwamba hali ya kawaida imerejelea, mabiashara yameweza kufunguliwa. Je, pengine hususan kama kaunti za pwani ama kaunti tatu za pwani ambazo ni Kilifi, Kwale na Mombasa ambazo zimekuwa katika ina marufuku ya kutoka wala kuingia iliweza kuidhinishwa na serikali. Je, pengine wakati serikali inajipanga kuweza kurejelea hali ya kawaida, je, pengine himizo lako ni lipi hasa ili kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba wale walioathirika pakubwa na masharti kama haya waweze kurejelea hali yao ya kawaida na hata hivyo waweze kupata maisha bora?
Hapa kwanza tungependa nyumba za ibada, sisi Waislamu, misikiti iweze kufunguliwa. Yale maeneo ambayo corona si nyingi sana, misikiti ifunguliwe na watu waswali kwa kuzingatia maagizo ambayo serikali imeweka. Swala la barakoa yako, toa ile carpet msikitini, swali. Tawadha nyumbani, njoo msikitini, swali, dakika 15 ufunga msikiti. Tunaweza fanya hivyo. Lakini maeneo ambayo yameathirika sana, na iwapo serikali itaondoa hiyo utaratibu wa lockdown au curfew, watu wataathirika, haina haja. Lakini kama ikifunguliwa kuna tija, yani watu watakuwa wanaweza kuishi bila kuathirika, basi ni vizuri serikali kufanya hivyo, kwa sababu leo Tanzania ni mfano hapa
kabisa.
Rais Magufuli hajafungia mtu na wananchi wenyewe wanachukua tahadhari
kabisa.
Wameswali Ramadhani yote, wamekwenda kazini. Kwa hivyo ningeomba serikali ifanye utaratibu wa kuondoa hili lockdown. Hii kafi imeumiza watu wengi sana, na budget, nasisitiza budget ya kufidia wafanyabiashara na chakula ya bure kwa wananchi na tiba za free of charge, lazima serikali ifidie.
Shukran. Smriti, that was the national chairman Kemnak Sheikh Njuma Ngao, who has been one of the Muslim clerics here in the county of Mombasa, and of course highlighting some of the key issues facing that have faced the Muslim community in the holy month of Ramadan, and of course also what they're expecting going forward from both the national and the county governments with regards on handling of COVID-19, and of course also talking about the restrictions that are currently in place. But remember, the national government have of course continued urging members of the public to strictly adhere to the COVID-19 protocols as it continues to fight against COVID-19. Back to Smitty.
Kevin, thanks very much for that. That was NTV's Kevin Mutai coming to us live from Mombasa. All right, elsewhere now, and MPs allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta say it is not in their interest to impeach Deputy President William Ruto. Kieni Member of Parliament Kanini Kega, who is said to be in the process of preparing such a motion, has rubbished those claims. Kega hosted a section of MPs allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta where it is believed they're planning details of a Jubilee Party parliamentary group slated for after Madaraka Day. He says their concern at the moment was implementing the president's agenda, and impeachment motion was not on the cards. Last week, Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria linked Kega to an impending impeachment. According to some of the members in the meeting that is currently ongoing, a purge is coming in the leadership of the National Assembly.
Who made that wild allegation that I have a motion to impeach the Deputy President? And I think this is a scheme to try and whip public emotions, to try and gain sympathy. And I don't know where they're heading to. So for me, I want to say in no uncertain terms that we have no motion to impeach the deputy president. We have no intention to do that because that is not part of our agenda.
Wamegundua safari yao imekuwa fupi. Kwa hivyo wanajaribu kuleta masuala ambayo haihusikani na sisi kutaka ihusishane na sisi. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuwaeleza kwamba ndugu zangu, nilisema kupanda mchongoma ni rahisi, kushuka ndio ngumu, na ukitaka kushuka kwa uwepesi utahitaji ngazi ya Uhuru Kenyatta naye baba Raila Odinga. Kwa hivyo imefika wakati lazima wenyewe wafikirie. Pili, na ninataka kusema na kusisitiza ni kwamba heshima kwa rais ni kitu ambacho haiwezi kujadiliwa.
If you look at me, I have not shaved for the last 2 weeks. Mheshimiwa Kutunya has been asking me on social media, how am I looking like? So he has just come to confirm how I'm looking like today. There is nothing much we are discussing. We are just buddies. The way you guys are media people, you are moving together. There's nothing new, nothing strange. Today is a good day for Muslims. It's good to share.
Right, well, joining us live from the studio is our senior political affairs reporter, Kennedy Mureithi. Kennedy, what more can you tell us about this impeachment issue and the mooted cleanup in the National Assembly?
Well, Smirti, a very good afternoon to you. But first of all, when a politician tells you that they are just having tea and all that related matters and they are celebrating Eid, it is quite interesting that, first of all, they are celebrating Eid in an office. All of them, none of them was a Muslim, and we actually saw the members of parliament who were lined up for that particular meeting. Those that we were able to see were MP, that is, we were able to see Kanini Kega, we were able to see Joshua Kutunyi, we were able to see Emmanuel Wangwe, we were able to see Maoka Maore, we were able to see the member of parliament also for Wajir, that is Fatuma Gedi, and we were also able to see the member of parliament who has served now for the 5th term, that is Jimmy Angwenyi. And all of them, when you see all of them coming together, it is quite interesting with regards to what times we are in. We are also being told that immediately after Madaraka Day, that is after the 1st of June, there is going to be a meeting that is going to be called by President Uhuru Kenyatta that will be targeting some members of the National Assembly. We do not have details of who is actually being targeted, but there has been word in the political circles whereby there are those who might be going home. It is not. It is actually not very. It is not a foregone case that some of them will be going, but there is a lot of underhand deals and other maneuvering that is going on as they really like to see who is going to be on their side by the time that they are going to have these changes and all that. But with regards to this impeachment motion that was actually mooted first by Moses Kuria, that is the member of parliament for Gatundu South last week, they are of the opinion that we do not have such a plan, and such a plan, if is there, is being propagated by members that are allied to Deputy President William Ruto. They say that it is not in their interest whatsoever. But what I have been able to gather in the last 1 week is that that plan is not very far from over. I was able to speak to some politicians yesterday, and they were saying that it is not a far-fetched thought that they would want to impeach the deputy president. Already they have cleaned up the Senate, and everybody who was considered to be on Deputy President William Ruto's side has actually been shoved away. Now, as it comes to the National Assembly, there is a scheme to make sure that everything that is going to happen is going to go according to a plan that has already been set in place. This issue of Kieni MP Kanini Kega carrying this motion is not very far-fetched, as we have heard. But today he has come out categorically to say that there is no such plan, and what they really want to do is to deliver on President Uhuru Kenyatta's agenda. So these are matters that are really coming up, and we would really want to see how does it go forward and how does it fit into their scheme. We also know that there are changes that might be coming into the National Assembly, and also changes that is constitutional changes with regards to the BBI. So all this is a conversation that has just been started, but we are in the process of preparing a better story for you in the evening when we will have gathered more details so that we can give you a comprehensive story in our 7 and 9 o'clock bulletins. But as of now, it's a story that we are following up. We would really also want to talk to those members of parliament and know what really was the agenda of that meeting, because it is not far-fetched that members of parliament would want to meet on such a day. But right now, Smriti, I go back to you for other news as we go to discuss and gather information on the other stories for our later bulletins.
All right, Kennedy, thanks very much indeed for that update. Well, Deputy President William Ruto has dismissed claims that his foundation distributed food unfit for human consumption to residents of Kikuyu constituency. The response by the DP follows reports that a number of residents of Kikuyu constituency suffered stomach complications days after Ruto and area MP Kimani Ichung'wah donated food to residents in response to the coronavirus. Well, Ruto says the information circulating that a number of residents in Kikuyu developed complications after consuming that food by his foundation are false. Ruto says that while he wishes all the affected well and was looking forward to their quick recovery, the food in question was not from his foundation. He adds that his foundation has been donating food to various parts of the country, including Nairobi, without any incident reported. Now, Mavoko Member of Parliament Patrick Makau has welcomed the proposed merger between the Wiper Democratic Party and the Jubilee Party. Makau says the move will go a long way in uniting the country. He further says the proposed merger is an affirmation of the cordial relationship that his party boss, Kalonzo Musyoka, enjoys with President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Tuko tayari kufanya na hao, na pia tumesema kama chama ya Wiper sio tu kufanya kazi na hao. Katika hii chama ya Jubilee ndio wenye serikali. Kuna viti za mawaziri, PS, chairmans, positions za chairmans katika National Assembly na Senate. Tunasema kama tumeingia kufanya kazi na hao, pia sisi kama wanasiasa ama wambunge wa Wiper, tungetaka pia tufaidike ndio tufanye kazi vile vile. Unajua utamu wa kazi ni malipo. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi kwenda kushikana na Jubilee ili hali hakuna vile wana Wiper watafaidika. Na unajua katika demokrasia ni scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Over 15 villages in Garsen constituency in Tana River County have been submerged after River Tana broke its banks. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced as local leaders call on the government to construct and repair damaged dikes to keep them safe from perennial floods. Residents say that this year's floods are the worst compared to the previous seasons. The floods have also affected Gamba police station, and residents are now living in fear of attacks by crocodiles, snakes and hippos.
Muda mwaka 20 around hatujaweza kuingiliwa na maji area hii yetu, lakini safari hii imetuai ya kutosha. Kulingana na hali ya hii maji, tuna changamoto mwingi sana. Hata kuna wanyama inakuja ndani ya hii maji, inahatarisha maisha ya watoto wetu na hata na maisha ya wakubwa.
Now, a total of 23 Kenyans who had been quarantined in Uganda after they were suspected to have contracted the coronavirus have been released. The individuals were in Uganda for 21 days, allegedly under harsh conditions. The youth, mostly herders and business people drawn from Lokales, Amakurait, Lorengip, Lorekai, Cherichor and Lorio areas in Pokot, were arrested on the 5th of May at Kokochwai area along the Kenya-Uganda border. Recounting how they survived deplorable conditions in a school at Amudat, a district in the Ugandan border, they say they ate one meal a day, slept in a classroom without bedding, and were forced to share 2 basins among 60 individuals. Well, despite testing negative for the virus, the individuals, who hold dual citizenry for Kenya and Uganda, are blaming both governments for abandoning them at their hour of need.
Wakati ilifika jioni, tukajaribu wapi blanketi, wapi mahali ya kulala, wakatuambia hiyo ni klasi yenu. Kuingia ndani, mabenches peke yake ndio iko ndani. Hakuna kitu, hakuna kile kitu hata chochote. Tukauliza chakula, wakasema programu yenu ni kesho. Hakuna chakula pande hii. Tukalala. Tukajifunika majaketi yetu. Tukatoa hizo mawali ya chat ya watoto ya kusomea. Tukatoa, tukatandika chini, tukalala.
Sisi akajaa hapo, sisi watu 60. Sisi meumia sana kwa hapo. wameumia sana kwa maneno ya njaa. Hakuna kitu ya kukula, unakoroga unga na maji tu na anapatia sisi chakula ile kama ya umbwa.
Now, the National Gun Owners Association has sensitized 1,900 police officers on COVID-19 prevention measures over the last 1 month. The association targets to train 75,000 officers across the country and has so far covered 10 counties.
Sanitize and stay clean is a message that has been repeated to all, and this time it was a class setting on the same for at least 90 police officers at Machakos University as the National Gun Owners Association held a training on how to handle their firearms, which can easily be a weak link as they go about their work, especially in light of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Police service are the team that is there in the front line. They're the ones who are dealing with, who are manning the roadblocks. They're the ones who are manning the isolation centers. They're the ones who are interacting with the suspects. And with that, they are technically more susceptible to this infection.
Ngao says it has already trained about 1,900 police officers in about 10 counties, but the number would be higher if they had more personnel or trainers of trainers, TOTs.
Only hindrance that we're having at the moment is, of course, I've said, we have few TOTs who are training and also the resources. So we're asking any partners who can come and partner with us as we go and try to reach all these 75,000 police officers.
The Ngao team sensitized the men in uniform on how to undertake the sanitization of their firearms and vehicles, as well as how to maintain personal hygiene. Ngao Vice Chairman Sami Onyango said if security officers are not well sensitized, they could pass the deadly virus to their families and colleagues should they contract it during their routine course.
Time is the right time for us to go out, support the police, give them the kind of information that they need, give them the kind of resources that they need, so that by the time they're protecting people out there, they have first protected themselves.
The Machakos County Deputy Police Commander said the training that targeted general duty officers was critical as officers are in contact with the different people while carrying out their services. Philip Munyao, NTV.
You're watching NTV at 1. Time for a quick break. There's more when we return. Stay with us.
Wajua wanasema food has memory and those who nourish you are never forgotten. Unakumbuka the auntie who made sure you shibat? Ule jamaa wa nyama, ule anakuwekea nyama poa ya choma. The dere, happy to share your takeaway. Na huyo mama wa chai, ule ana warm your lunch before you ata uliza. Your mama mboga, ule anakuongezea ata nyanya. Ule waiter kusava haraka haraka. Na ule mandazi lady, ule anakuwekea ndao moja ya baadaye. Na your boda boda rider, ule jamaa kufikisha haraka haraka. Now this is the time to let them know they are not forgotten. This is the time to make sure every table in Kenya has food on it. The points on your phone can be food in their home. When you sit with a plate of food today, pledge to stand for someone who has put food before you. Dial *126# to transfer your bonga points now so they can buy food and necessities at any outlet with a Lipa na M-Pesa till.
Safaricom is for you.
Pembe Flour, your most trusted quality brand for over 3 decades, has a new look now. This new pack is available in all leading supermarkets and outlets. It's still the same flour. Great taste, so you can cook and bake all you love with Pembe Flour. Pembe yangu ni poa.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
If we continue to behave normally, this disease will treat us abnormally.
Thanks for staying with us. Residents of Ngothi village in Mwea constituency yesterday defied the COVID-19 rules on social distancing to repair a road connecting them to Makutano-Sagana highway after reaching out to the relevant authorities to repair it in vain.
This is what taking the law by your hands looks like. Residents of Ngothi village only needed the material to fix what the county government has been unable to, and that help came in the form of a donation of 20 lorries of maram. Armed with jembes and shovels, the residents came out in large numbers to repair a section of the road.
Tumekusanyika tukasema vile kanisa haziendwi, tutakuja tutengeneze barabara kwa sababu tumekuwa na shinda kwa wakati mrefu.
The road, which is in deplorable state, has affected transportation, especially during the rainy season, which often leaves the residents cut off from the other parts of the county. The road also threatened to cripple their businesses as movement of goods was a problem. Horticultural products got spoiled on the farms as they watch.
Biashara zetu kama ni vitu tumelima huku hatunanga njia za kutoa.
Patients seeking treatment are not able to access health facilities with ease. Nayoma Sampao, NTV.
All right, away from that now, and a heap of construction materials, including an artificial turf shipped in from Europe, is wasting away at the entrance of the Dandora Stadium, signalling stalled work at the ultra-modern sports facility in Nairobi's Eastlands area. The 3,000-seater facility was touted as Nairobi's Governor Mike Sonko's main contribution to sports in the county. But that legacy is now under threat as work on the stadium remains incomplete 2 years after the intended launch date. The contractor left the site while work on the stadium was 80% done last September after being flagged by the ethics and anti-corruption officials for allegedly using substandard materials during construction. The investigations touch on whether the contractor changed the bill of quantity and used steel to support the better part of the structure instead of using concrete, thereby reducing the original cost of 350 million shillings by half. EACC officials have finished evaluating the facility, but a report is yet to be submitted. And further afield, Barcelona President Josep Maria Bartomeu visited the first team during their training session on Saturday morning. More than 2 months after the COVID-19 pandemic halted the season in Spain, players have begun training in small groups as they aim to be as ready as possible for the planned reboot next month. Clubs have 11 games left to play to finish the season, with the proposed final round to be completed by the end of July. A compressed calendar would mean teams playing matches both in midweek and at weekends, while fixtures will be held behind closed doors with only 197 10-year-old girl who peddled her injured migrant worker father more than 1,000 kilometers across India after a coronavirus lockdown left them destitute has been invited to try out for the national cycling team. Jyoti Kumari rode a bicycle with her father, Mohan Paswan, from Gurugram city in New Delhi to their village in the northeastern state of Bihar. They arrived home on May 16th after covering 1,200 kilometers in 7 days. Paswan, a motorized rickshaw driver, was among millions of migrant workers left jobless after the country was suddenly locked down in March to slow down the spread of the virus. Well, that ride also caught the attention of the Cycling Federation of India, which offered Kumari the chance to try out for the country's team. The cycling body expects Kumari to travel to Delhi after the nationwide travel restrictions are lifted. Well, President Donald Trump kicked off the start of the American summer season on Saturday with his first golf outing in 2 months, underlining his push for a return to normal life in the United States. With lockdowns easing across the country and the U.S. leader ramping up his travels, Trump also confirmed he would attend a space launch in Florida next week. Trump, keen to find a way out of the coronavirus crisis and is facing an uphill re-election battle, has ramped up pressure on the states and local governments to ease lockdown measures. On Friday, he demanded state governors to classify churches, synagogues and mosques as, quote, essential services on the same level as food and drug stores and immediately allow them to hold services. The pandemic has, of course, hammered the American economy and led to a fierce debate over restrictions. All right, well, that does it on NTV at 1. Thanks so much for your company. Do stay tuned. Coming up, an Eid special with Zainab Ismail and Salim Swale. You don't want to miss that. Goodbye for now.
This